10th Assembly leadership tussle heightens as major speakership aspirants reject APC's consensus candidates. Senators, reps-elect go through induction. While Batch A of the program ends today, Batch B holds between 14th and 20th May 2022. Thanks for joining the Mace this week. I am Rosemary Ukokotega. For everything about today's package, stay tuned to ASO Television. We are live on DSTV channel 392, StarTimes TV channel 127, Free TV channel 507. On the UHF band, we are on channel 38. Stay with us.
We are a nation blessed with people of diverse cultures, religions, languages, and opinions. It is ironic that we are now being ripped apart by our greatest strength, our diversity. We have allowed intolerance, insensitivity, bigotry, and nepotism to blind our vision of the greatness we can achieve working together as one. We may not have the same culture, nor religion, nor language, but we all belong to the same nation by the divine will of God. We did not choose to be Nigerians. Nigeria chose us. This nation is our divine heritage, and if we open our eyes, we would realize that what divides us pales in comparison to what unites us. And by the comparison and conciliation of our differences, we will grow until our differences disappear. Our unity cannot be willed by mere declarations, nor do we get unity by ignoring the questions that beg for answers. We must celebrate our diversity and debate our differences without fracturing our unity. Our strength is not in our numbers, but in our unity, because even the weak become strong when united. Nigeria unite.
This message is brought to you by Abuja Broadcasting Corporation, owners and operators of ASO Radio 93.5 FM Abuja, ASO Television DSTV Channel 392, StarTimes Terrestrial Channel 127, Free TV Channel 507, People's TV Channel 285, and UHF Channel 38.
You're watching the Maze on ASO Television. Now to details. The week ending today has been a beehive of activities, with each day full of intriguing politicking among interests. While the fast approaching inauguration of the 10th Assembly is an obvious cause for the heightened agitations over who becomes President of the Senate and Speaker House of Representatives, announcement by the National Working Committee of the ruling All Progressives Congress APC of consensus candidates for the principal offices further added an all-new and interesting twist. In one recent edition of the Maze, we featured 10 and counting aspirants for office of the Speaker alone and around 5 for that of the Senate. Between last weekend and now, there have been more declaration of intents for principal offices of the two chambers. On the Maze today, we are taking you through all declarations. First, from the House. After official declaration for the office of Speaker by spokesman of the 9th House and the only female standing, Princess Miriam Munoha, we have seen the leader of the House, Mr. Alhassan Adodogowa, member representing Pakshin Kanke Kanan constituency of Plateau State, Mr. Yusuf Gadi, and a member representing Biu, Bayo, Shani, and Kwayakus of Federal constituency of Borno State, Mr. Mukhtar Aliyu Batara. And to all latest aspirants, we go first with the House leader, Mr. Adodogowa, who has simply said it is his turn.
I have paid my dues. I want to repeat, I have paid my dues. It is time to reward my stewardship to both the Parliament and the nation. Just like our Speaker, I'm also serving out my 5th term in the House of Representatives. I have served as Chief Whip, House of Representatives 2015 to 2019, and currently Majority Leader of the House of Representatives, working very harmoniously with my Speaker Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila. By the special grace of God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I stand out as the oldest serving member from the Northwest Zone in the House, and with the support of my colleagues, I am the leader of the Northwest and the leader of the APC caucus in the current House of Representatives. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to believe, God willing, I will be the speaker that will see through the implementation of the Renewed Hope 2023 Action Plan for a Better Nigeria, anchored by our amiable father, tested President-elect Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I plead with my colleagues from the zone, specifically, and to extend to me, that they should extend to me as a privilege, not by right, the same Gbajabiamila treatment, because as the saying goes, what is good for the goose is also good for the gander. I am humble and enthusiastic about the numerous calls from Nigerians to lead the institution they believe I have vast experience in. And I believe it is time for me to answer this great clarion call. If I may digress a little from the draft, I want to borrow the humble example and the very humble words of the President-elect of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that MLA con. MLA con. As far as I'm concerned, and as far as the institution of the legislature is concerned, I want to borrow his words humbly, that MLA con, that it is my turn this time around. My dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Nigerians, it is therefore I have no greater official honor for me than to stand today here before you, ladies and gentlemen, Nigerians, and declare my intention to serve as next Speaker of the House of Representatives in the 10th National Assembly, and I so declare.
Next up is the member from Plateau State, Mr. Gadi. He has the Gadi Plan, One Nation Forward Together, containing all he intends to do if voted as Speaker of the 10th House.
Under the reform of the House of Representatives, I intend, if given me the mandate, I shall reform the House of Representatives by providing a legislative agenda. Yes, Mr. Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila Hakim have a legislative agenda. But I want, if given me your mandate, as part of the reform I intend to undertake as a Speaker of the 10th House of Representatives, is to have a bill that will legitimize legislative agenda. Or in other words, to have a standing committee in the House rules of the House of Representatives that recognize committee on legislative agenda. The Committee on Legislative Agenda shall be vested with a lot of responsibility of providing framework for identifying legislative priorities. I will not be a speaker that will be tolerating bills. I will be a speaker that have that standing committee that will have the objective, what we intend to achieve as a 10th House of Representatives. I will reform our oversight. The oversight responsibility is part of the reform I want to undertake. It is the constitutional mandate of Parliament to oversee the implementation of laws, formulation of government policies, and superintending over the expenditure of funds from public posts of government. Why are we failing? Why is it that we don't have tar road to my village, Gumgadi? Why is it that we don't have hospitals across Nigeria? Why is it that our educations are not working? Is it because we don't have the natural resources and the money to provide for those things? The answer is no. It is because the Parliament have failed in its responsibility of discharging sincere oversight commitments. If we oversight the executive the way it is supposed to be oversight, projects implemented the way they are supposed to be implemented, definitely we will have a better Nigeria. I assure Nigerians, and I assure Mr. President-elect, that Yusuf Adamu Gagdi will provide that robust support for him to succeed in ensuring Nigeria is transformed as one of the best world economies. I am confident that President-elect Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu have the capacity to do that, but only with the support of people that mean well for him in his government. And I'm sure I'm one of those that mean well for Nigerian people. I will come up with a public website in the National Assembly that each committee's oversight will be publicized for Nigerians to see what agencies and departments of government are doing to be able to hold chairmen of committees and representatives of theirs accountable for what they are elected to do. My blueprint, my manifesto, called Gagdi Plan, One Nation Forward Together, will alter the way our voting procedures is. I have seen something in amendment of the INEC, Independent National Electoral Law, as well as the petroleum industry bill during the voting. It created problem. If the House of Representatives is really the house for the Nigerian people, nothing stops us from adopting a unique way of voting by recording our decisions electronically. I will be the speaker that will make your representative fellow Nigerians vote publicly for you to know whether they vote for or against any policy and decisions of government. That will increase transparency in the conduct of the affairs of governance in Nigeria. I will ensure that laws that are friendly to women, youths, and people with disability are priorities of the 10th House of Representatives. So I call on you to be fair, to be honest, to try and do your utmost best by ensuring that we elect a leader that will help this country. I will continue to be a law-abiding party member, just like I have ever been. I will be an advocate of justice, equity, and fairness.
Now to the member from Borno State, Mr. Betara, the man whose declaration pulled out 5 other aspirants in solidarity and with a twist. Mr. Betara's declaration happened just a few hours after the release by the National Working Committee (NWC) of the All Progressives Congress (APC), picking Mr. Tajuddin Abbas from Kaduna State as Speaker and Mr. Benjamin Kalu from Abia State as Deputy Speaker. Let's first have Mr. Betara on the mic as he declares.
Honorable colleagues, all has been said about Betara. I invited all of you here to declare today for the speakership of the 10th Assembly. All has been said about me. The most important thing today is for me to declare that I'm contesting. Today is our day for members-elect in the 10th Assembly and for our former members of the Parliament. You have seen all the aspirants here. They came to support me because we are one family. We are moving as a group to get back the institution. We've been in this system for years. I was a member in the 6th Assembly, the 7th Assembly, the 8th Assembly, and the 10th Assembly. Here on the high table, I think my senior is only the House Leader, and my mate is the House Leader and the Senator Manguno. But the Deputy Speaker, we came in together, we've been close, and I think I'm the best friend with the Deputy Speaker when we come in the 6th Assembly. We've been in one family, we are together, but you know sometimes politics sometimes you be on your own, he will be on the side, and I will be on the other side. But today, we are together for this movement. When I invited him to join me today for my declaration, he honored it. And my dears, I'm really grateful for the honor you gave me today. For my brother, Abugadi, I remembered when the Budaje went for his declaration, he said, Betara is one man that doesn't say no. And why I cannot say no to my colleague is sometimes when your colleague comes to you, you need your assistance. If I cannot fulfill all, at least I can do small. That's the main reason I cannot say no. Honorable colleagues, as the injury room of the legislature, Honorable Femi Bajamila gave me a name. He calls me the head boy. Yeah. I was surprised for my friend, my boss, to nominate one person outside all of us here. If today the Deputy Speaker of the House is contesting, the Chairman of Appropriation is contesting, the Majority Leader is contesting, then who is closer to the Speaker? So nobody. He's speaking one person that members of the 9th Assembly, I can tell you, some of us even don't know the person is speaking. Yes. The 9th Assembly members, a lot of us. So, honorable colleagues, today I am here before you as honorable members to declare that I am contesting for the speakership of the 10th Assembly. And I want to thank my friends, my brothers that travel from far to come and attend this program.
And to the twist, here we have all 5 aspirants: current Deputy Speaker, Mr. Idris Wase; Leader of the House, Mr. Al-Hassan Adodogwa; only female contestant, Princess Miriam Monoha; member from Katsina, Mr. Sada Soli; Mr. Yusuf Gadi from Plateau State; and a member from Zamfara, Mr. Sani Jaji, raising opposition against the party's consensus arrangement. Here we go.
What we are witnessing today, we have never seen that kind of moment in the parliament. And that's why every parliamentarian must rise to the occasion to defend that institution, to ensure we do the right thing. And it is in the light of that, 5 of us sat, 4 sat, but the additional work finger that we have is Honorable Adodogwa, that will work as a team. We will not allow this parliament to be disgraced. We will not allow this parliament to be hijacked. We will not allow this parliament to be made a lame dog. I believe we are loyal to our country first, loyal to our party, loyal to our people. And like my leader did mention, when you say you have a consensus candidate, the language for consensus is very simple. It means then there has been very massive consultation, people are brought to the table for discussion, and there's an agreement. In this case, we just saw and we are hearing rumors, speculation that some people have been made consensus candidates. I don't know whether that is the meaning of consensus.
Gentlemen, I'm also here on a personal invitation of my friend, a colleague and a brother who is also running for the same office. I think I'm under obligation to honor his invitation because of his humility. He's one person that we respect in the House, that we always address him as a shock absorber. The 10th House of Representatives, as God may have it, whoever becomes the speaker must need better around to really hold it tight. And it is in the light of that unity and understanding, like my colleagues have rightly said, that I feel I should join this occasion to fraternize with him, to wish all of us well, and to let the world know that my contest is not about do or die affair. Whoever God gives to, I will be a progressive ally to work with him. And I will expect if God gives to me, every other one will join me to work together. But one message that I have to put across is that the Parliament, in this case the House of Representatives, or by extension the National Assembly, is one special institution that must always be allowed to work out its own business by itself. The business of our leadership should be solely our business, not any other person's business. The way and manner members that operate under a platform of first among equals, members that operate on the platform of equal members representing equal constituencies constitutionally, must be respected as an institution, and we must be respected collectively. In a situation whereby you have some other people in whichever guise or whatever name trying to define or determine how or where or when our leadership or who should form part of leadership from outside without consulting us, I think that should be seen as a mere failure. Inclusion in politics is very key and important. I remain very available to my party for consultation and inclusion. And only if that is done, then definitely everyone will answer his father's name. My name is Honorable Adodogwa, and still contesting for the Speakership of the House of Representatives. Thank you, and God bless all.
I thank you that this family is an inclusive one, the one that recognizes the role of the women and the strength that we possess in our diversity. This group you see here upholds the tenets of affirmative action and the need for inclusivity and diversity. I have proven that I'm a woman who comes with the right experience for this process and was the first to initiate this, visiting a co-aspirant at his declaration. We have all shown that united we stand and divided we fall.
Our common fraternity in Parliament is the most strongest bond for the Parliament, for the parliamentarian to succeed in their endeavor. Why are we here? We are here for the survival of the institution of National Assembly. Why are we here? We are here for the respect of the sanctity of the independence of the Parliament. Why are we here? Because we would want to demonstrate the inclusivity of parliamentarians. Once a parliament is not inclusive, the country will cry, the public will castigate the parliament because some people are isolated. The trends that are going on now, or the trends that are being speculated, will spell doom for the integrity, the fraternity, the sanctity, the inclusivity, and the sovereignty of Parliament.
Thank you very much.
Yusuf Gagdi is Betara, and Betara is Yusuf Gagdi. I wish you well.
As a way of pressing this opposition further, the Deputy Speaker, Mr. Idris Wase, a while ago formally announced his intention in a news conference. Well, it's a matter of time and all interests will be sorted out. We will be your eye on events as they unfold. Just always make it a date with us on the Mace and you wouldn't have to miss any detail. Now, shortly before the party's pronouncement, some lawmakers, while participating in the first phase of induction for all senators and members-elect for the incoming 10th Assembly, had taken their stance while speaking to journalists on the sideline of the ceremony. These are Senator Godswill Akpabio, Mr. Benjamin Kalu, Otumba Adewumi Ononuga, Princess Miriam Onoha, among others.
I always describe politics as a game of concentric circles of conspiracies. So I'm not worried about anything. I believe strongly that the will of God will be done. The lawmakers are going to be the ones choosing the next Senate president. I haven't even imagined there's none for now. But then when you talk about there should be independence, I believe that there should be cooperation between the parties and, of course, the lawmakers.
In democratic climate like ours, the ruling party plays a major role in setting up the architecture of government. And for some of us who believe in the supremacy of the party, we always tag along with the position of the party.
Everywhere around the world where there are true democracies, parties make inputs, but decision is left with those elected.
You're still watching the Maze on Nassau Television. We are live on DSTV 392, Star Times 127, Free TV 507, and the UHF band, channel 38. As promised from the onset of the program, here are more intrigues in the politics of the 10th National Assembly leadership. Well, we have more playing out at the House compared to the Senate for now. Let's go ahead. As the twist evolve in the ruling All Progressives Party, the minority has become a major force to contend with. Rising from a previous meeting, the Minority Caucus issued a communique stating resolve to contest office of the Speaker and Deputy Speaker respectively. An 11-man committee to scout for credible and acceptable members for the two positions is to be also set up. To the last phase of the politicking at the Green Chamber for today, the unveiling of the chosen ones by the ruling APC party. The consensus candidates for the office of the Speaker and that of the Deputy Speaker, Mr. Tajuddin Abbas and Mr. Benjamin Kalu, were unveiled to members-elect, the Joint Task 10th Assembly. The duo, after a brief meeting, talked to newsmen on their nomination and future plans.
I feel elated, I feel inspired, because I believe if the party is going to use competence as its yardstick, I am the right person to actually be picked. So the fact that they did what I expect them to do, I feel very elated. I feel very satisfied. Before the end of next week, I assure you all the candidates, all the contestants will reach out to them, we will beg them, we will ask them to come on board so that we can work for the good of the institution. Next week, we are going to do our official declaration. So we'll come out with a 16-point agenda. In that agenda, you see all the areas we are going to work on in the 10th Assembly. I welcome you, I invite you to the declaration which is coming up next week. We give you the date, and then you will know what we have for the members, what we have for this country.
The party has started the strategy for the 2027 election by making sure that they have a foot in the southeastern region. What they have done with this nomination is in the spirit of inclusion. The Southeast is going to feel the power of cohesion, and national loyalty is going to be driven by virtue of this that has taken place. It was a wise decision to include the Southeasterners in the structure of government that is being formed. As you know, it is the responsibility of a ruling party to set up the architecture of government in order to achieve the set national objectives. And I'm sure by making sure that everybody embraces that national objective, will help them achieve it faster. And this architecture that is being displayed now is all-inclusive architecture. And my people in the Southeast are delighted that they're being considered. And that will change the dynamics come 2027. Because an energetic young man who believes in the party, in the supremacy of the party and loyalty of the party, has been called up to stand on the platform to energize the zone for progress, unity, and prosperity of the nation. And that I pledge we will do.
All right. As heard from the horse's mouths, we will be part of the presentation of the 16 points agenda and bring you update. Just keep your fingers crossed. Time now to bring you some feelers from the induction ceremony for the first batch of lawmakers-elect within the week, as organized by the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, NILS, in Abuja. Leaders of both chambers, President of the Senate, Senator Ahmed Lawan, and Speaker of the House, Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila, welcomed senators and members-elect, shared a little of the 9th Assembly's story, and pressed them towards intentional participation when the 10th Assembly formally kicks off. Over to Senator Ahmed Lawan and Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila.
I welcome you most heartily to the National Assembly at this singular moment in our nation's history, when the talents, perspectives, and dedication of all political leaders are required to steer us through present challenges towards the success we desire and we hopefully deserve. Now, going forward, all of us will have to justify the offices we hold by the quality of our endeavors in that office. For those of us in the legislature, this means that the quality of our lawmaking and advocacy, the excellence of our constituency services, the thoroughness of our oversight activities, and the substance of our discourse in the chamber must be unimpeachable. I urge you to take advantage of this opportunity to lay a worthy foundation for your legislative activities over the next 4 years. This imposes a dual obligation on the National Assembly, first to reform ourselves, then to reform the rest of government. We recognize this dual obligation in the 9th House of Representatives and began efforts to change the way we operate in the House of Representatives. Shortly after the House resumed, I appointed a cross-party committee to prepare a legislative agenda for the 9th House. This effort produced a policy document that identified key areas of national interest where urgent action was required to improve the fortunes of the Nigerian people. From healthcare to human capital development and national security to the justice system, we identify specific policy actions and set implementation timelines to guide our interventions. This was the first such effort in the National Assembly, and it helped ensure the 9th House operated in the direction of achieving clearly defined goals. I urge all of you to find that document and read that document. Now, this was the first attempt at such an initiative, so our execution was nowhere near perfect. It is now your responsibility to build on that. The constitutional reforms enacted in the National Assembly may well be the most fundamental part of the legacy we leave behind. And because government is a continuum, we have a joint responsibility to continue that effort in the 10th Assembly. Distinguished and honorable colleagues, I have recounted some of the last 4 years to highlight 3 basic facts. The first is that no matter how much work you do in government, there's still much left to be done. The second is that the 9th House of Representatives and the National Assembly have been unusually innovative and substantive. This places a heavy obligation on successor parliaments to be better and to do more. Thirdly, you will note that all the highlighted achievements have been achieved on a bipartisan basis through the efforts of legislators working together despite the membership in different political parties. As you enter the 10th Assembly, I urge you to remember that nothing of consequence is achieved by individual effort in Parliament. You will either rise together or fall alone. Legacy is not a function of length of time. It is a consequence of making the right choices consistently. I wish you all a good legacy. I congratulate you once more and welcome you to the 10th National Assembly. God bless you.
I am delighted to welcome you all to this induction program for incoming members of the 10th National Assembly. Please accept my warm congratulations on your victory and my best wishes for your success as you prepare to take up the responsibilities and challenges of your office as lawmakers and representatives of the people. I hope the induction course will be a rewarding experience that will capacitate you on the workings of the legislature and the legislative functions. Distinguished senators-elect and members-elect, at the onset, the 9th Senate was mindful of the damaging effect of persistent conflict with the executive and the resultant impact on legislative and governmental activities. However, we are equally aware that a good working relationship between the two arms of government, the legislature and the executive, is desirable and indeed an imperative to achieve effective and efficient service delivery to the people that elected us. Hence, under my leadership and my brother, the Right Honorable Speaker, the 9th National Assembly adopted a friendly but professional approach to executive-legislative relations focused on harmonious working relationship based on mutual respect, consultation, cooperation, collaboration, and partnership. This approach to engaging with the executive has led to a misperception and misunderstanding, which has led many to tag the 9th National Assembly as a rubber stamp assembly, as my brother, the Right Honorable Speaker, mentioned before. Yet our intention in preferring an engagement with the executive based on harmony and collaboration has been to better service by providing a safe atmosphere for national development in the national interest. There is no doubt that this has proven to be beneficial to the people we represent. And of course, compared to previous assemblies, the achievement of the 9th National Assembly in the area of lawmaking is attributable to harmonious executive-legislature relations, which, contrary to many expectations, need not be aggressive and hostile. I commend the distinguished senators and honored members of the 9th National Assembly and the executive arm of government for the valuable partnership that has yielded improved service delivery to our citizens. In line with our well-articulated legislative agenda, the 9th Senate prioritized the return of the federal budget to predictable January-December cycle. Concerns of security, corruption, youth employment, poverty alleviation, education, healthcare provision, gender, economic growth and diversification, and oil and gas, among others. In addition, we targeted various and timely legislative interventions and other parliamentary functions and committed ourselves to work in a bipartisan manner to address the myriad problems confronting our country. In this, our decisions have been collective, purposeful, and patriotic. And talking about the legislative agenda, both the Senate and the House had agendas, but the agendas were more or less the same because we think along the same line. All we needed and all we tried to do is to provide services to our nation. And of course, that requires that we have very bipartisan chambers where party platforms are only vehicles to convey our colleagues or all of us into the chambers. The 9th National Assembly has broken many jinxes and done many firsts, overcoming traditional obstacles through consensus building and clever political brinkmanship. We have focused our energy working on legislations that have salubrious effects on the lives of Nigerians. In this regard, the 9th Senate has performed exceedingly well in terms of the number and quality of the bills introduced, passed, and assented to. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today's induction program is happening after careful preparations, given the significant roles you play as legislators. It is a core national assignment that requires all levels of commitment. I am confident that we are ready for this task. I charge you, in fact, I charge all of us to be purposeful, patriotic, and accountable to our constituents and our dear nation. On this note, I congratulate all of you again, and it is now my pleasure to formally declare this induction program open. I wish you all the best. God bless you all. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you very much.
The Director General and NILS, organizer of the induction ceremony, Dr. Abubakar-Suleiman, intimated lawmakers on the working of the Institute vis-a-vis better legislation.
Legislators elect for the first time faced a significant challenge of understanding legislative language, processes, and procedures. In recognition of this perennial challenge facing the legislature, successful leadership of National Assembly resolved to establish an institutional support structure with a unique mandate of building and strengthening the capacity of legislatures and providing technical support to the Nigerian legislature. I'm glad to inform you, therefore, that the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies (NILS) is the only statutory body established by law to provide all the support you need to effectively represent your constituents and translate your campaign promises and aspirations for your people into concrete government policies and legislations. With nearly 2 decades of experience, the Institute is well embedded within the National Assembly and uniquely placed to assist legislatures in performing their constitutional mandate of lawmaking, oversight, and representation. In furtherance of its mandate to improve the quality of legislative interventions and outputs, the Institute has partnered with the National Assembly to design and execute this induction program for members-elect. As the people representative, therefore, the legislature must engage regularly and constructively with the public, civil society organizations, the media, MDAs, and other stakeholders. 2 days, therefore, have been set aside for interaction with national security and anti-corruption agencies and actors. Members-elect must understand the issues and challenges affecting the quality of governance in this country and how they can work together with the stakeholders to develop legislative measures to address those issues. I encourage you all, therefore, members-elect, to take full advantage of the experienced faculty and resource persons provided at this induction to prepare themselves for the task ahead. Several studies have shown that new legislatures are better able to perform and contribute to debate and committee activities if given the required orientations at the start of their work. This induction is the first of many training you will receive in the coming months and years. Our institute, under the able leadership of the Senate President and Right Honorable Speaker, will continue to the task of providing continuous education and in-depth training on specialized aspects of legislative work. Once again, congratulations to all our elected legislature, and we look forward to working together and providing the necessary support you require to excel in the 10th Assembly.
2 of the guest speakers at the ceremony, Acting Professor of Economic History, Obafemi Awolowo University, Dr. Adetunji Ogunyemi, and the Director of Legal Services, NILS, Dr. Shuaibu Danwaka, warned all lawmakers-elect against accepting bribes while discharging statutory responsibilities. The 2 intellects presented papers on different topics: parliamentary immunities, privileges, and code of ethical conduct, and constitutional powers of the Nigerian legislature, respectively. It won't be entirely right not to hear from those for whom the event was organized in the first place. So let's feel their pulse a little.
It's a good day, and the day was properly set out, and the preparation was good. And you know the rule of induction courses like this. It is meant to update us, enhance our skill, so that we can reconcile ourselves to the processes and procedures of the National Assembly. We have been canvassing and preaching for quality representation, quality laws that will impact meaningfully to our people and Nigerians by extension. And by what we have seen, the way we have started, there is hope that much will be achieved at the end of the day.
It's good that lawmakers interface, interact, and compare notes. You know, a number of us are meeting for the first time, so this has given us an opportunity to know our colleagues, to compare notes, and to think big for Nigeria, because the challenge now is that we have to think beyond the moment. We have to think Nigeria. We have to explore trajectories of partnership so that we can use the key power valve that the Senate represents to rebuild Nigeria. I think so far so good. It was good that we came out.
Basically, I'm hoping that the 10th Senate will be a very vibrant and promising Senate. And most importantly, most of us from our personal and individual interaction is Project Nigeria. How to make sure this 10th Senate takes Nigeria first. Anything we are doing, we put the consideration of Nigeria first.
Very simple. As I have said before, the defining issue for most of us is the need to have an independent National Assembly. We must have a National Assembly that is independent of the executive. As the third arm of government, we must hit the ground running as an independent body. We cannot be seen to have a leader or leaders imposed on us from the executive.
Well, some of the lawmakers in the first batch for the induction ceremony. The second batch is built to commence soon. We will be your guide as usual. And it's here we round off the Mace for the week. Many thanks for watching. Join us again next week. I am Rosemary Kokotega.